you can't judge by color anymore. White isn't good in Crybaby. In fact, it's the opposite. When has white been good in Crybaby? Exactly. When has white been evil? Alright, Selene, and more importantly, Ryo. Ryo is a danger to Akira. Ryo is Satan. We were given plenty of kinda subtle hints on episode 7. In Ryo's hotel, you can see the numbering 666, a nod at him being the immortal devil. The most important hint is when Ryo reads the Bible. The revelation is when Satan returns to fight against God and his army. Before the shot ends, Akira's voice enters. This is known as a J-cut since the audio arrives before the video. The editor ends up literally combining the scenes to make a smoother transition. In this case, the audio Akira had also applied to Ryo, who was reading back on the return of Satan. So the real dialogue for Ryo goes like this: Satan, I'm back. So yeah, aside from that smart editing to relay information, is there something more subtle? Well, actually yes. On the same episode, a general and his henchmen are associating over the danger of demons. We move to a closer shot of the henchmen talking, but there's this purple scheme in the corner that wasn't there before. This isn't a continuity error since we find out what the color is. A demon. Wow, that seems very boring. Except it's not. Following the purple impaler, it moves to the general to make you think for a split second that the general was impaled as well. The shot then does a strange keyframe over to the face to reveal that the general was a demon all along. Instead of just taking the easy route and keyframe the shot to move diagonally, it purposely led us onto one thing just to refute it. Is there anything else on episode 7? I'm glad you totally didn't ask because I'm schizophrenic and asked that myself. There's this part on episode 7 where Miko gets sexually harassed and has a gun to her head. Now we know she's a devil man, but we also know that she's dead if he shoots her. So to save herself, during their advertiser and friendly meeting, Miko kills the harasser and then proceeds to have intercourse with this corpse. What the fuck? You'd think she wanted to avoid this situation because she had a gun to her head and was being harassed, but no. Opposite is true? I really love the rapping. It's probably my favorite parts of the series. And in general, I just love the rappers as characters. Usually rappers are given negative connotations and directly linked to being hoodlums or gangsters, but not for Crybaby. I'm not gonna sit here and say that they rap about real things, but they have consistent themes relating to current events. This acts as a kind of exposition, but characterizes the street rappers as they don't appreciate violence or drugs. This effectively subverts the hip-hop culture to a more reformed and enlightened, almost NWA-light street rhymers. At the end, well, they really shine. It was the power of street knowledge after all. Episodes 7 to 8 are the start of mass hysteria around demons. We often see the absence of God within shows like Attack on Titan, when the avid believer of God is killed, but that's what most people do. How about instead we have people prophetize off of the demons by claiming everyone who doesn't listen to them are demons? Your boy Miki's dad is the only Christian believer in like all of Japan, so when he gets Detroited, it's the opposite of the absence of God. It instead calls for God in the time of urgency and demons when there are people doing bad. It makes us feel a little hopeful and assures us that God's army will defeat those darn demons on our lawns. And then the ending happens, which I will not talk about. This part is actually sad because I feel for Miki's dad. Miki's daddy 05 is looking for Taro and his mommy 05. He then realizes that his son is a demon and ate his wife, aka Miki's mom. When there are deaths, especially in stuff like Naruto, you'll see that the camera often pulls away from the characters, making you feel as if the world at that moment is desolate. But here? No way, it glorifies it, even showing a toe-to-head shot of the mother's corpse. It's all like, you wanna see the nitty-gritty? Here! Wait. At exactly 11 minutes into episode 8, you're gonna hear the wailing of a dog that is supposed to be Taro. You know, dogs and Taro, they go along well. Especially when Taro is a devil man that eats canines. There's this part in episode 8 where Ryo is trying to find himself. That sounded a lot more cute than what it was actually supposed to mean. Satan is this devil who's cool-headed, nihilistic, and brutally stuck on the logistics. Humans are bound to be destroyed by the demons. It's survival of the fittest. But when you find him digging for a body in the middle of the Amazon jungle, talking to a less than lofty gentleman in their less than lofty home, it's just weird. This is Satan, the man who practically lives on a throne and ruined the world. And here he is speaking Ongo Pikasada with some indigenous people. It's a little conflicting, right? Well, that's what Devilman is. Conflicting. Pretty much everything mentioned is the opposite of common things being true. Instead of the original rock and roll metal vibe of the original manga, it's substituted with more hip hop and techno dance of the 70s soundtracks. It's not the conventional and sometimes even subversive, but like in the end of Crybaby, nothing really matters.